my question to you is, when you are doing confessionals and you're asked certain questions, and you know the truth, but you just want to give the person some grace, but you want to answer the question in a way that is light, hopefully funny, because I always think fun shade is definitely always better than mean shade. And just like literally get it out of your mouth without like totally hurting the person's feelings.
Yeah, of course.
How did you deal with, were you in situations like that on Beverly Hills, and how did you deal with that?
So I want to give the BTS of how confessionals work.
Yeah, let's do it.
Confessionals, I would say, okay, we film about what, 3 to 4 months, right?
Yes.
Confessionals start about at 2 months, 2.5 months, right? So what they do is you film the show and they start editing as the show starts filming.
Right.
And you actually do confessionals all the way through while it airs. Like confessionals can last 6 months. So like, let's say you start filming for like 4 or 5, 6 weeks. Then you get the call, we're going to book your first confessional. So you sit there, but you don't get to see anything.
No.
So you're sitting in front of whatever you called it. You said you had like a teleprompter.
Not a teleprompter, but a monitor.
But it was just not, there's no teleprompter.
Yeah.
So there's a producer that sits in a little chair in the dark right behind the camera, and you're facing the camera, and they're like, okay. So it's like, you're at, whose party was it?
We were at Shamia's birthday party.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're at Shamia's, and Portia says, you know, like, you're a scoundrel, whatever word she used. It was like, I actually laughed. But I think it was scoundrel. I don't know.
She told Drew that she was a low down, dirty individual.
Low down, dirty. Okay, yeah. Because I think of dirty, rotten scoundrels, or about scoundrels. So here I am making up words. But they'll say, like, how do you feel about that? So then you're like, I can't believe she said that. Right. But you have to kind of relive it.
Right.
But you don't get to watch it. There's no cameras. You don't get to see any history.
No, it's just questions.
Yeah, so it's questions like that.
And you have to remember, because for me, like, as soon as I walk out of a scene, I forget everything that happened most
because
of the time.
you've already filmed 6 weeks already.
Yeah.
So it's hard to remember what that relationship was.
Yeah, and
because
you have a whole life going on outside of the show.
Right.
So to remember everything verbatim, which is really tricky and really important for a show like this, I spend most of my time in my confessionals going, okay, what did they say exactly?
Me too.
What exactly happened? Because I want to make sure I get this right. I don't want to say anything like that's not accurate.
Not right. Yeah. Because half of the tape is me too.
Yeah.
What? And they're like, you don't remember? I'm like, I don't. Just tell me what happened.
Right.
Like,
tell me what happened so I can respond.
Cynthia said this to you, and I was like, okay, then respond. You're like, why do you say that, Cynthia? Like, because you don't really remember.
Yeah.
And as you go on throughout the weeks and the months, it all starts to really blur out.
Yeah.
So,
and you actually, low-key, want to forget some of the stuff, actually.
Of course. Anyways, that's the backstory of how those confessionals work. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone.